Hi guys, welcome back. This is update number 20 and I have done a full 19 weeks eating carnivore. I can't believe we're that far. It's crazy. So this has been a really almost bizarre week where it started out like exceedingly over the top good and then ended like not so good. And so like every day was just kind of up and down roller coaster, just different things. So I took some notes to help me get through this. So definitely some interesting things took place this week. A lot of you have been commenting about how different my face looks from my beginning videos. And so I went back and looked at it myself because I don't really remember and I don't see it so much in the mirror myself yet, but I saw it on those videos. So I'm looking at my beginning videos. If you're just joining me like now, go back and watch a few of those beginning ones because yeah, there is definitely a difference. My face looked really different. I can't believe how pudgy it looked. It looked big. And yeah, it's definitely already noticeable difference, even though I'm only 34 pounds down and it's already slimming quite a bit. So yeah, that's my next thing. I lost 1 whole pound this week. So 34 pounds down officially, that's where I'm at. And so yeah, it's super happy to kind of see some difference in my face. However, I haven't looked into the mirror yet. I'm probably about 50 pounds away from this moment based on losing weight in the past. But at some point I will look in the mirror and I will absolutely see it, and that is one of the moments where I'm super looking forward to. It's going to be a whole video on its own and I'm going to be squealing with delight, but I'm not quite there yet. I can definitely see it on the videos, but I don't really see it so much in the mirror. I still look like myself to myself, and I don't see it yet, but that's coming probably in about 50 pounds or so. So at the beginning of this week, I was feeling super good and motivated about this way of eating and super excited, just excited, not just for the results of this, but just this way of eating and to maybe stick with this longer term. And I was, really thinking about the excitement over being able to add some carnivore type stuff back in, like yogurt or cheeses or creams, things that I'm not necessarily having all the time right now. And yeah, I just felt super optimistic to kind of add back in more once I hit my goal weight and then be able to kind of eat this way, which is different. I really was only going on this to just lose weight, and I wasn't thinking of sticking with this long term, and I'm still there. I'm not thinking of doing this forever. I'm thinking of relaxing it at some point, but I just started feeling a lot more excited about this way of eating, and that kind of surprised me. I was even out one day and somebody was doing I guess kind of like a keto or Atkins diet or something along the lines, and I made a recommendation for her food wise, and I was like, yeah, I'm a carnivore, and so I understand stuff like that. And so I actually said that to a stranger, identified myself as a carnivore. I'm a carnivore. So yeah, I don't know, I feel some different, just some mental shifts happening there, not really calling it a diet, maybe calling it more so a way of eating, just stuff like that, kind of changed my thinking. And that was at the beginning of the week. And I'm kind of in a different place mentally a little bit now than I was a week ago. That was kind of right after I made the last video. And then what happened is I am still getting the reactive hypoglycemic episodes. And so my blood sugar will kind of crash and I feel weak and I feel shaky and I feel sick and I feel nervous about that. It's a really miserable feeling, and it's not something I had before I started this. It is something I've experienced way in the past when I was a vegetarian, which is something you would expect to see. This way of eating is not something I would necessarily expect to see reactive hypoglycemia on, because eating the protein and eating meat is one way that you would kind of combat that. If you're low protein, you can get, reactive hypoglycemia. I was definitely low protein when I was vegetarian. So now I'm not, I'm all protein. And so it's kind of frustrating to be experiencing it. It's very miserable and uncomfortable. And it happened again. So I'm not super happy about that. I definitely need to find a way to prevent that from happening and make sure that is not happening, and make sure, figure out why that is happening, which, medically they don't always know why that happens, but I'm not willing to have that just keep happening and not paying attention to it. So at this point I am paying attention to it. I'm learning everything I can about it. And so that's where I'm at with that. I don't want to say a whole heck of a lot about it. To be really honest and transparent with you, I didn't even want to bring it up And obviously, you know, I want to be honest in these videos. And so I have been honest and transparent this entire time I haven't really held anything back from telling you guys what's going on, and I never want to do that because I want to give you a full picture of what I experience on this. But I really struggled with wanting to mention it because I have issues with diabetes. It's like diabetes is kind of a ticking point for me. It's because I know a lot of people associate obesity with diabetes and prediabetes and insulin resistance, and that makes sense because there is definitely a correlation between diabetes and obesity, but not every single overweight person has insulin resistance or prediabetes or diabetes. Not every single one of them. There is a high incidence of it, and there's definitely a correlation there, but not every single person does. And that is what is supported in the medical literature. And so I'm not just, making that up for my own thing, but diabetes is something I feel like was kind of spoken over my life and like expected from my life because I am so overweight. And it's something I'm going to cover in a myths about overweight people video I really want to do, because I really want to dispel some of the myths that are out there, because I'm not the typical overweight person. I don't feel like I fit into some of the molds that are out there for overweight people and what they struggle with. My issues are a little bit different, and so I kind of want to shed some light on that. And so yeah, I just really it's a sticking point for me talking about diabetes, because diabetes is not my issue. I don't have problems with my sugars. I don't struggle with that. And so for all the things I do struggle with, like that's not one of them, but it just was kind of spoken over my life that would be something I'd have to deal with in my life. And I've rejected that. I've rejected that kind of thinking. And so I just didn't even want to bring it up because yeah, it's been an issue. Diabetes and blood sugars and things have been an issue that I have just been kind of trying to skirt around and ignore on this channel. Yeah, if you say anything negative about diabetes, then I'm probably just going to ignore your comment because, I don't need that. I don't need that spoken over me. Anyway, I am experiencing the hypoglycemia. It's not related to diabetes in any way, and that's where I'm at with it. And I'll keep updating you as I kind of try to figure some things out. But it definitely put a damper, on this week. It happened this time kind of late at night. I was hungry, and sometimes I just want to be able to feel hunger and not feel anything else, And I was a little hungry, but it was bedtime, and I was like, I'm gonna just go to bed, And it hit so quickly. The icky sick feeling. So I did have a little bit of Greek yogurt because that's what we had fast, and a little bit of honey drizzled over it, which is the first time I've kind of really eaten honey at all, I think, on this. And it's not something I'm allowing very often because honey is not really weight loss conducive. So that helped definitely that night, but the next day I just felt weak and off the whole day, and so that was not exciting. So then another thing that happened is my husband made some ice cream from Heavy Cream for himself, and I thought, what the heck, I'll just try a little bit and see how I do with it. And never again, at least not for a long time. My body does not like heavy cream. The next morning it jumped up 4 whole pounds from that, and so I'm obviously reacting to it and cannot tolerate the heavy cream, which is something I pretty much knew. I just want to kind of test and see where I was with it. So it's not fun, it's not fun to see your weight jump up the 4 pounds higher. So even though I hit my lowest weight this week, 1 pound lower, and I'm technically 34 pounds down as of right now, I'm 30 pounds down. And so yeah, I'm not liking that so much. So that's kind of where I'm ending the week right now, is having had, a couple days ago, this hypoglycemic episode, and then having the weight be 4 pounds up, and it's just a struggle. So that's just where I'm at with it. I really still don't quite feel like I have this diet down pat. And because I'm kind of coming up on 5 months on this from when this video is, I guess I'm over 4.5 months at this point, so coming up in 5 months. Yeah, I just don't think it should take that long for it to work for me, for me to feel consistently good, this is humming along. My husband didn't struggle with it at all. So that is kind of giving me some pause in my mind of really kind of having to acknowledge that and kind of look into that and examine that. So definitely, if the hypoglycemic episodes continue, I'm gonna really need to look into what I want to do about that. Maybe this way of eating is not right for me if I'm gonna be experiencing that. So I'm not at that point yet. there's definitely some things I want to try. I went ahead and I ordered ox bile supplements. I'm wondering if I'm not processing or digesting or absorbing the fats well enough or properly enough for the fats that I'm eating, just because I don't have a gallbladder. So I've never taken bile salts for that in the past. I've had my gallbladder out for 8 years now, and I've never really needed to, but now I'm going to see if that helps. Maybe I'm not getting in enough fat or absorbing enough fat because of that. So I'm going to be doing the ox bile. I got some, they're like tallow supplements. They're like stearic acid tallow supplements, and they're Dr. Saladino's ones. So I'm going to try going on that and see how I feel. And so that's some things I want to kind of change up and try. I also want to start exercising. I know I keep saying that. I've talked about that a few times, but I have an opportunity, I think, coming up where I'm going to be able to be more consistent with that and do that. And I'll talk about that maybe in a couple weeks once I kind of get myself situated and make sure that actually happened. But I want to be able to feel well enough to work out on this and get strong and feel healthy and have some endurance and have strength. So there's some more things that I want to try before I start deciding, okay, maybe I need to add in some other things. Maybe I am a little bit more suited to be a ketovore and I can function better. Maybe I am a little bit, maybe I'm keto. So we'll see. We'll see where I land. It really does shake me up though when I experience those hypoglycemic episodes. So definitely other things I've noticed too, or just takes a really long time to kind of get going in the morning. In terms of just like my eating. So even just like making the 4 eggs and, you know, drinking my bone broth and stuff in the morning, it takes like an hour or two. Like, it's not a quick thing. So either I have to like give that time in the morning and have this kind of like slow morning, or I have to go without it and get through however long of my day until I can come home and do that. It's just kind of impeding my life right now. It's kind of impeding my lifestyle, and I'm not really sure how to change it up or make that go faster. So that's something I'm kind of gonna need to like work on, because it makes me feel really homebound. You know, it really makes me feel either homebound, or it makes me feel like I get like a really late start to my day. Even though I'm not waking up late, I'm waking up at like 6 or 7 in the morning right now. It's just, by the time all of that happens, I guess because I'm kind of fasting, I'm kind of eating later, like at noon, and I'm kind of delaying it and I'm kind of fasting, but it's still just, it takes a couple of hours to get that in appropriately. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know, because no matter what way I'm eating, you know, eating eggs in the morning is something I probably do anyway. So I don't know why it's so different on this, but I'm just having trouble kind of getting myself together. One other thing I noticed even just today that I'm doing is, because I feel kind of weak sometimes, because I have the blood sugar kind of happening, I filter everything. Every opportunity in my life, I'm filtering it through the eating. What time will I need to eat? Will I feel okay? Will I be not weak? Will I be like non-weak enough to go do this activity, you know? Or if it's like a dinner out with friends that's coming up this week, you know, do I order something there? Can I order something there? If not, you know, planning to eat before I go, then trying to come home and then finish, you know, kind of eating. And like, I just have to plan everything around that, more so because I'm feeling the weakness sometimes. And if I wasn't feeling weak at all, like, I can deal with a little bit of hunger. I can deal with being around other people when they're eating. You know, it's just struggling with the weakness has really kind of like shaken me up this week, because it's back, because I dealt with that the whole month of June, and now we're kind of in the end of July right now when I'm making this video, and it's back. And so something is still, you know, going on where it's not quite humming along. It's probably still fats and electrolytes, and yet it's hard to pay attention to that every second. Like, it's this diet that no longer becomes like simple for me. It's a lot of work, which is fine if I still feel okay, and fine if the weight's coming off, because I want to do the work. I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to put in the time, but I just kind of have to look at the big picture, and is this really like working with what my body and with the way I eat and with, you know, how I feel. So I don't know, just a difficult week in that regard. I'm hoping this next week will be a little bit better, but I think that's all I want to say in that regard. So that's where I'm at for this week, and that's what's going on. And I've talked your ear off long enough, so I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
We start to sail along these ocean waves. Nobody knows how to find us. It's turning out to be a perfect day. I just wanna leave our normal lives behind us. So let's get lost out here. No